Welcome to the Value of Recruitment Podcast with me, John Brooks. Sponsored by Atlas, the recruitment platform helping you become an AI-powered recruiter. This week, I'm joined by Sir Alec Reed. Sir Alec is literally synonymous with recruitment, having founded Reed Employment in 1960 and grown the Reed Group to become one of the biggest brands in recruitment, both on the recruitment agency side and the online job boards. During the interview, Sir Alec shares some of the secrets to his success, how he started by pricing his recruitment service at a premium, how he's used innovation to stand out from other agencies, and the transformative effect of Reed being 18% owned by charity. We also talk about his book, Capitalism is Dead, Peopleism Rules, and the theories behind his belief that people are critical to the success of business. Sir Alec recently turned 90 and is as passionate as ever about the importance of recruitment and how we can continue to improve as an industry. Enjoy the show. I hope you find it valuable. Sir Alec Reed, thank you for joining me today. Let's kick off with the big question. How valuable is recruitment in your eyes?
I don't know how you measure it, but incredibly valuable. The world's changed in the last 50 years, and it's much more valuable than when I started 60 odd years ago. It was ancillary. Now it's prime place. The economy is based on three areas: land, labour and capital. In the early days, land was everything. All the state owners measured their wealth by their land. Labour was dirt cheap and treated very badly, and capital wasn't often required. The odd new plough or pig, that was all. So the dominant factor was land. Then came the Industrial Revolution, and there was a need for factories and shipyards and mines. And so capital became preeminent, and labour went up a few pegs. Foremen appeared, and they were paid more, and craftsmen were paid more. But generally, it was certainly in second place, and capital was all important. The thing was that capital was easy to control as well. Now, it's my belief that people are in charge. There's human talent that's leading progress, and they're not so easily controlled. And so what we're seeing now is disturbance from peopleism. So controlling and motivating people is of prime importance, and isn't yet recognised as such.
Yeah, so in 2003, you wrote a book called Capitalism is Dead, Peopleism Rules. Do you think those things have come true, what you wrote about in the book, and how's that changed since 2003?
Well, a lot's come true, but it's been a much bigger revolution than I thought. I mean, I didn't really envisage workers taking the law into their own hands, demanding working at home, demanding shorter weeks, shorter hours, demanding higher wages. We've got strike after strike, often in the public sector, and I didn't envisage that. I was just envisaging people controlling the means of production, the creativity, but it's gone far wider than that. I did warn that peopleism is going to be no kinder to us than capitalism. In fact, in a way, it's not so kind because it's uncontrolled to a certain extent.
Yes, and there's a huge divide between those billionaires now, the top of the creative tree, and the people who are left behind.
Yeah, and I didn't know really where to put the billionaires because they're obviously become capitalists.
Yeah,
it's not a capitalist system that's working anymore.
For recruiters, what's the recruiter's role in a peopleist industry?
Well, I think the clients are crying out for more. For many years, 50 years, it's just been the introduction of individuals. But I think users of agencies will want and demand more by way of testing, maybe, by way of research, and by referencing people in a very detailed manner. References virtually went out of being for many years. People didn't bother with them, but now they're finding they've got to bother with them, and it's got to be done in a very detailed and professional way.
Yes, and one of your points in the book is that the difference between a good candidate and a great candidate is huge. Finding for a company, finding a candidate who has that creative spark, that enterprise, that innovation that can drive or even change that business. So the pressure is on recruiters to find those people and present those people to their clients.
Yeah, and to concentrate more on the jobs they're filling. At the moment, the system is fairly loose, but I suppose agencies don't fill the majority of jobs. They're filling a minority, maybe 1 in 3. And the client, in a way, is only getting, because he's using so many agencies, he's only getting a fraction value from his fee. If clients retain agencies, they get far more in-depth service than they do now.
Yes. Out of interest, do you know where that came from, the kind of contingent idea, or the idea that clients would use multiple agencies?
I think it's just in the early days competing with new. Fascinating thing about the 60s is a lot of recruitment was in newspapers. I mean, every newspaper, they used to have supplements on jobs sometimes, and they were all making a large part of their income from recruitment advertising. But the client didn't know how much it was costing him to recruit somebody, because he was paying for ads, not for heads. So I think an easy way into that market for agencies was to offer to do it per head and on success only. And so when you do it on success only, you're paying for all the other unsuccessful work that's been done as well. So it's not the most efficient way of operating. I mean, estate agents have sole agencies or at a higher fee.
Yeah.
You can give it to other agencies. So they've gone in that direction, which solves part of the problem. But I think it was just a competitive laziness.
Yes, and I think that that holds today as well. It's quicker and easier to say, oh yeah, say to a client, oh, you're not going to risk anything by working with me. Whereas actually, if you take longer on the pitch to say, look, here are the reasons why you should retain me, why you should work exclusively with me.
In the early days, more agencies changed their fee depending on the salary. I think that's less common now, isn't
it? Some are still staggered, yeah, but I see quite a number of agencies who have either one set fee, or for most salaries, they end up charging the same. You set up Reed in 1960. You weren't previously in recruitment. So why did you choose to go into recruitment? Why did you choose to launch a recruitment business?
Well, Gillette was a good idea for ideas, and I loved having ideas. And occasionally the ideas were accepted, but more often they were turned down, which I found frustrating. So I determined that I wanted to work for myself, not to earn any more money. I was earning £900 a year, and that would have satisfied me. But to have the joy of seeing one's ideas put into practice. And so I was looking for an area in which I'd be self-employed. And I was the accountant of one of the Gillette companies and signing lots of checks to employment agencies. And so I looked into it and thought that would suit me fine. Although I was an accountant, I never saw myself being a self-employed accountant. That didn't appeal to me at all. So I looked into employment agencies and thought it was an exciting area to enter. And it was an exciting area. What I hadn't realised is that I was looking at a particularly exciting area in West London, because they were just building Heathrow Airport, and that was increasing the competition for labour or for staff enormously. And there was a battle between the established businesses and the new airlines for staff. So it was a really hot market. And for some reason, I would call it intuitive intelligence, I entered the market at 25% higher price than the existing agencies. And I was sitting at a desk that was a typist's desk with a bit of hardboard over it, which I paid 30 bob for. The others had splendid offices. But they never attempted to copy my premium, though, for some reason.
So you knew what your competitors were charging, and you chose, through this intuitive intelligence, you chose to charge a premium.
Yeah, they were charging a week's salary then. It wasn't a week. So I charged a week and a quarter.
Very nice. And yeah, in a hot market, why not?
Yeah, but the amazing thing was nobody ever copied me.
Over the years, have you seen the things that competitors have done? Different ways that they've presented their services or offered more value that you wish you'd done?
No, not really. We would do them. We like doing new things. So if we'd seen any, I can't honestly think of one. I mean, we flirted with management selection. We had a company called Reed Executive, and we picked up our ideas from there: shortlist fee and retainer, shortlist fee and appointment fee, and the presentation of the candidates. We copied that, but that was fairly basic stuff. And there haven't been many revolutions in recruitment, except the online stuff now.
Yes, which of course read.co.uk was part of that change.
Yeah, we got in there when we saw it as an opportunity, but there wasn't anybody to copy, really.
So you say recruitment as an industry hasn't changed much. How can we make recruitment more valuable or maybe more valued in the eyes of our clients?
Well, I noticed last week the ex-agriculture college at Cirencester that started a degree course for estate agents, which I think some people thought was a bit odd. But I think we ought to be going in that direction, not necessarily a degree course, but there ought to be, and there was years ago, I was president of it for 5 years, an Institute of Employment Consultants. It was called the Institute of Employment Consultants, and it merged with the trade body. And that was a mistake, I think, because it lost its identity. But I think there needs to be a quasi-professional body for recruitment consultants. And that could be leading in the direction of the Personnel Management Institute.
Yeah.
Maybe part of it or leading to it. It would attract a number of applicants knowing that they've got a career at the end of being a recruitment consultant, if they want one, if they want to progress into personnel, there's the opportunity. And recruitment's a big part of personnel anyway, so it wouldn't harm the personnel departments to have experience in recruitment.
Yes, and I think more and more so companies take recruitment in-house at least part of the time. So they have more of a blend of in-house recruiters and agency use.
That reflects what happens in accountancy. I mean, accountancy was vital to capitalism. It was the servant of capitalism, accountancy. And they trained there, well, they still do, as auditors, doing basic audit checks in companies. Juniors start there, they all start there, and they get embedded there, and then they rise above that when they're qualified, they're going on to other things. But the basis of it is audit. So the basis of personnel could be recruitment.
Yeah, and then clients, especially in this kind of peopleism world, clients could say, look, as CEOs often say, people are our most important asset. We need a chartered recruiter or a qualified recruiter to help us get the best people.
Yeah, I think a lot of people say people are their biggest asset, but they don't do much about it.
No, I think in your book you say, yeah, people are the most important, but everyone's got a CFO on their board, looking after the capital. How many have an HR director?
Yeah, it's down the pony.
Although it's interesting to see that, the Reed agency now is run, the managing director was formerly the HR director.
Yeah, so we practice what we preach.
Good to see.
You're doing a fine job.
Good. Just looking at recruitment pricing. So you say back in the 60s, you charge a week's salary, and you went in on a premium of a week and a quarter. How did that change over the years?
Rapidly at times. I mean, there were price increases twice a year in some years. I think as demand rose, more people entered the business, and so spoils were shared amongst more people, and that put the prices up. But they did, in the inflationary times, I think, we did. Not only did we have price increases from inflation, but there were often a physical increase in the percentage a couple of times a year. So nobody really knew what the cost was of recruitment when it was in newspapers. And when it came out into agencies, it became obvious that it was greater than one thought.
Tell me, when decimalization came in, I'm just interested by this one, which was early 70s, I believe. How did fees change there? Was there a language change in how you charged?
No, it's very easy. In fact, Reed floated at that time, 1971, and we had to quote our shares in old money and new money. it didn't disturb much. It created an area for recruitment, but it didn't disturb the business much.
Yes, I guess it must have been like the millennium bug of the day.
Yeah.
You needed experts for the transition.
Yeah.
Now, think about negotiation. How have you negotiated with clients over the years? Have you got any tips on negotiation?
No, not really. I can't. We didn't negotiate to any great extent.
Yeah, that's probably the best way of doing it.
As you say, they don't have to take your candidate. Just take the candidate if he's worth a high fee.
Yes. So actually, yeah, if they don't see the value in what you've done and the candidate you've provided, then yeah, the risk isn't there. So yeah, when you launched Reed, you were charging the premium. How did you make sure Reed stood out from other agencies?
I just tried my best. I would have done that at any fee. I mean, the fee was incidental, and I tried to get noticed. I mean, I was one of the first ones at a shop, and I used to park my car outside the shop, and then I picked up a second-hand poster from Henley's that fitted on the top of the car, and I had that painted Reed Employment. So, I mean, everybody knew where Reed Employment was because of the car and the shop. And the advertising was gimmicky, supposed to be humorous, pretty corny humor, but it was different. And being attentive to the clients, just being straightforward with the clients. And I think I made a profit in the first week. Made about 5 placements in the first week.
Wow. Sorry, 5 placements in the first week.
Yeah. And I opened on Saturdays because I enjoyed it so much. But it did give candidates an opportunity to come in on a Saturday.
So again, was that something you were doing different to other agencies?
Yeah, they didn't open on Saturday.
And then you took the idea of having a shop to the next level. In the I guess in the 80s and 90s, Reed offices were on every high street.
Yeah, we opened or tried to open shops, and we did. We had an excellent property director who built up the portfolio of shops, and he was able to act quickly. He didn't have to come back to me and ask if it was okay. He would know what we're looking for and do a deal on the spot. And so he stole a march on the competition, and that's how we progressed until, of course, shops, we don't have any now. They're not needed in the peopleism age.
Yes, well, the advantage there was, you moved, everyone moved online, and reed.co.uk gave you that kind of shop front online.
Yeah, I've got a heavy presence.
Do you ever feel that clients or people misunderstand Reed or see it differently to how you want it to be seen?
Not that I know of. I hope they don't. I mean, we are a unique sort of company. 18% of our shareholding is owned by charity. Charity Reed Foundation is the biggest shareholder in Reed. And so we're able to tell our co-members, we like co-members, we don't like employees. We're able to tell our co-members that one day a week they're working for charity, which is quite something. All their efforts one day a week are going for the good of others. And that has made an enormous difference to the company. Enormous. In fact, we're trying to persuade other companies to do it, whether they're employment agencies or other. But if they give 20% away, they'll never regret it, because the return one gets, respect from clients and co-members, is enormous.
Yeah, so I mean, you've talked before about wanting to stand out and being different. That's clearly different if you say, look, our biggest shareholder is charity. We're doing this for society.
Yeah, that is our biggest difference. But there are other companies, a few other companies that have large charitable holdings, but I don't know of any other employment agents.
No, and I know some, there used to be the 1% club, didn't there? They'd give 1% of profits to charity.
We were a member of it. We remember the 1% club, but it didn't have the same impact as 18%. No. We couldn't say 2 hours a week you're working for charity.
Yeah, that's the time it takes for you to come in and turn the computer on in the morning. No, 18%. You're 18% more impactful than other good agencies. And I know if people are listening to this who are interested, you're happy to kind of talk them through the journey and explain how they can follow this idea of being part owned by charity.
Sure, if they contact me, I'll be pleased to do that, delighted to do it.
You talk about uniqueness. There's a classic marketing term, USP, which stands for unique selling point. I know you coined a different phrase. So USP for you means unique strategic positioning. So talk us through that.
Well, uniquely, the first instance of that was our training company. We started a training company and we'd send out 500,000 leaflets a couple of times a year. And so that had a uniqueness in that if nobody came on the training course, the leaflets at least were publicising the name Reed. So it was a good mailing shot for Reed, although it was training rather than recruitment. It helped the recruitment side. And then if we had a few coming on the course and spare places, we could put our own co-members on the stall, invite co-members to go on the courses, and then clients. And so clients and co-members would be on the same course. And so that the strategy there was using the assets we had, adding to them, embellishing them. So that's why I changed USP to USP.
Nice. I know you said you set up Reed because you just loved ideas, innovation. You've been a serial entrepreneur your whole life. What advice would you give to an ambitious recruitment owner or a recruiter wanting to set up a recruitment agency today?
Prepare yourself, I suppose. Get an accountancy qualification to start with. It's what I tell my grandchildren. I think the accountancy qualification is better than an MBA, I think, and it gives you an insight into all sides of the business. So qualify yourself. So that's what before you think of setting up on your own, get something behind you that is going to help you set up on your own, whether it's recruitment or anything else.
And where does recruitment go from here? What does the future look like?
I hope it'll go the way that accountancy went, become more professional, more embracing, it'll be able to do more for the clients, and in that way enrich the clients. The clients get a better fit with their members, co-members, and end up with a more profitable business. But I think generally people have got to be paid more. That's the big way it's going to go, I think.
Yeah.
There's too big a gap between the rich and the poor. And at the moment, some of the strikes, you can see the logic behind them. Some you can't. So instead of saying how much increase the sector of workers should get, we should be looking at their value and how they compare with other sectors. And how much are they paid already? They want 10% increase, 15% increase, 20%. How much are you paid already? So there's a lot more research in that, I think.
Yeah. Good. We've talked a lot about value. What do you value personally? What do you pay a premium for in your life?
I don't care.
Yeah.
Being after. But I've never been really very keen on spending money, and I don't like presents very much either. For some reason, I've got what I want. I've got more than I want, certainly more than I need. So, a comfortable life, really.
Yeah, the irony is you found a very good way of making money.
Yeah, but I've found a good way of spending it as well, with charities.
Good, yes. And I know you've set up, I think it's 7 charities now. So that's a pretty good way of distributing it.
Yeah, it's so satisfying because for an entrepreneur, it's an entrepreneur effort to start a charity. And it's a different aspect, and it has such returns. I mean, I started Ethiopia 35 years ago, and it's raised 40 million for Ethiopia. It cost $1 million to start up, so it's a fantastic investment. And serve the others being. So it's a good way of spending your money.
Wow. What a privilege that was to look back over 60 years of recruitment and consider how recruitment will continue to evolve in the future. There were so many valuable ideas from Sir Alec, but 3 stood out for me. First, his confidence in charging a premium when he launched Reed. Second, his focus on standing out in the minds of his clients. He didn't need fancy desks like his competitors. He invested in ways to get noticed by his clients and then did a great job for them. Third, Thanks to Sir Alec, we have an economic theory that explains why recruiters are so important in helping businesses thrive through peopleism. Sir Alec also shared his passion for charity and the power of 18% of Reed shares being owned by charity. If you're interested in learning more from Sir Alec about taking this route for your business, contact me and I can put you in touch. If you found the show valuable, please leave a review and remember to subscribe or follow the show on your podcast app. You can also get more insights and inspiration by signing up to my added value emails on Substack. You can find the link in the show notes. Now, go and create some value. Thank you to Atlas for sponsoring the Value of Recruitment podcast. To learn more about how Atlas is creating an AI platform that helps recruitment agencies generate more placements with less effort, visit recruitwithatlas.com.